Yo, what is good, everybody? What is good, yo? Oh my god. I didn't think I'd be doing this, but here I am, and I honestly have some interesting things to talk about when it comes down to the comparisons of the last series and this one, because I'm fresh off of JoJo's Diamonds Are Unbreakable. So to watch something like this, it completely is going against some of the things that this JoJo, Jotaro was goes against. He actually condones and stuff like that. For instance, we had people in Diamonds Unbreakable that were just going out of line. They're way out of pocket, and with on within within like that series, he never really had the full like notion to outright kill some people. But at the same time, the things he was doing to people, you might as well have just killed them. You know what I mean? So, and what I mean by that is he literally turns like someone into a book that, he's always and forever will be a book that can't use his abilities, that's stuck as that book. And some people were heard to said that when they read it, they could hear voices, but they just wrote it off as them just hearing things. Someone else got turned into a rock. But the thing about these people being turned into stuff is I'm pretty sure they're not dead, so they do experience some things in the matter, but they're also like inanimate objects now, inanimate objects. Um, and so imagine being a human and having everything you could do in your life taken away from you, and you're stuck in one spot for the rest of your like eternity that you can even last. Like a rock can be destroyed sometime or sooner, but when it's like a memento rock that people walk by and stuff like that, no one wants to break it. So now looking at the flip side of this, showing you the a complete opposite of how these characters are kind of the same, but at the same time definitely breeded much differently. With having Geo, I'm just gonna call him Geo because Geo. Shut up. um, Geo, that boy, that boy's power is stupid, bro. It is so stupid. I mean, the Diamond's Unbreakable guy, I feel like because there's 39 episodes, we really got a good feel of what his weaknesses were, what his overall arcing decision of what to do with his stands at certain like times. Like he would bluff, he would bluff, be like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you," and then be like, "Well, I'm already hurt." And he's like, "Well, fine, I'll just heal you with my stand." Like that was something we had known that he could do because of how unique he was. But when you go into this guy, his stand doesn't seemingly have any like flaws besides power, pure natural power. And what did the guy from Diamonds Unbreakable was missing from, like his lack of ability was just straight up stable stand training. And that strength came naturally. He could throw punches at 300 miles per hour, like stuff like that. And we're looking at the fourth episode of this Geo guy, and he is making bananas into guns to blow people's brains out. He's not giving you a chance to do something again. That's not what he sees is a smart move. And that's the difference between these huge and but small difference of this show is. And to be fair, he's like, in a place where he's looking at all these people as gangsters, and like because they're gangsters, He's just taking them out in the sense of, to better the place, better the area, Geo. But at the same time, this man that he takes out was in prison. You know, sure, he had a way to get his stand out to people that were trying to join, and clearly it was a trick. The lighter was 100% a trick because there's no way, if even if you do keep it lit up the whole time, just by someone else flipping it back on to cheat, uh, it activated that stand, and if he didn't have the stand, there was no way he would won. You know what I mean? Like anybody without a stand is not winning against that shadow stand, unless you're just by far a god, and sooner or later you're going to get a stand just because you're naturally gifted. But this week's episode, Geo really has to go out of the comfort zone. And when I say out of the comfort zone, this is a man who, when he does use his stand, it's very short. It's very short-lived. There's not much to see. There's not much for him to give you in the sense of fighting because it's straight to the point. He wants to be done with it. That's definitely something he was gained from the backstory that we got with him and his father, and the guy who pretty much became his father-in-law, and he just didn't trust the guy, so he was reading the moods on him. He knows someone who's got some sinister stuff in mind, and he's not going to let those types of people go, in my opinion. And that's what's so crazy about this guy is if him and the JoJo guy met up, it would just go to show that whoever won, supposedly their morals are better, because at the same time you can't really say Geo is a bad guy. um I mean, you could, because he has, like, Dio's, he's got a lot of bad things that are already lining up with him, but at the same time you can't tell me that this man is bad, including with one of the main characters from the other series giving him praise for being good, like the main character from there. Which I thought was another saving grace that put the cherry on top of that cake, and you're just like, yeah, that fits. Having a character like him who is always going to try to do the morally right thing, and he runs into a gangster that's trying to be morally right, it makes a lot of sense to give that comparison, because now in a fight with JoJo and them, he's almost out, he's almost excluded, because he's not going to want to fight a certain side unless someone goes over the line. That's just what JoJo, the whole entire series as a whole, is really good at doing, is setting up these very elaborate plot devices where we're now taking a main character who was 100% on someone's side to die for somebody, to all of a sudden see that into someone else and know that his adventure has, started much later. He's only 15, so it's definitely going to be something ridiculous. But this week's episode just goes to show you that he is, even when he uses his stand, he doesn't even trust, like other people necessarily, in the sense of, like, these people are supposed to be on his team. He wants to trust him, but more than anything, I think he wants to know what their stand ability is when he's at the table. Just like, I'll tell you what mine is if you guys tell me what yours is, And the man who gave him P is, funny enough, the last one that makes it, out of the ordeal of this, like, crazy stand that's on this boat right now. And to think that he's the one that's going to have to pretty much now sow the seed of friendship, or at least a little bit of trust in Geo, boy. We're going to get a very interesting pairing with these people just by looking at the face of this man's stand, which you can say this about, I guess, every stand now with this show, because they're so unique and different. You could tell this man has something up his sleeve with this stand. Not only that, when the whole like situation arised, the main guy who already had this team set up, he's like, oh yeah, this would be like a perfect situation for you if you really want to, solve this mystery. So really interested in this already. Dio being a very, very dark character in the JoJo series as a whole, like, and kind of being misunderstood at times to the point of people wanting to take his side over JoJo's, which I've seen a couple times in like blogs and different people's big overall arcing posts of their feelings of him. So I really can't wait to see them now dive even more deeply into the idea of Dio being one of the good guys and maybe the Unbreakable Diamond guy being the bad one. But the other thing about I was saying is the Stan is like shown way less with Dio with this guy compared to the Diamonds. Think about how many times he got into like altercations and with the stand fights and stuff, and how much he's just swinging, swinging, swinging. And then you come to this guy, and the one time we see his stand the most is during that lighter situation, and we barely see it do that much. It punched something to turn the railing into vines, and then it blew up a tree. But all of these things were kind of done in secret. Like it's almost as if the no one's actually seen his full-on stand. Like the guy on the bus did or whatever, or the train, but they haven't seen it to a full degree of like, oh, it can move this fast, it can hit this slow, things like that, because he hasn't just gone in slug fights. He's going for that kill, and I think that's what's really going to be the turning dark side for this guy, including not only that, the point of him becoming the master gangster of it all. That would ruin, your image of on the street level as a civilian. So really interested to see if you guys are loving JoJo. I know one of my friends are. Shy Lion, shout out to you for even doing reviews on this before me and showing me just how hype this is. So I finished Unbreakable Diamond and started to watch this because of that man. So make sure you drop him a sub if you aren't already, and just check him out if you are into these reviews. He definitely does some shows that I don't do, and I think it's a good chemistry between the two of us because he does shows I don't do, and then I do shows he doesn't do. So you get more shows. Not only that, you get good like genre of shows. He does every types of show. So thank you for watching this, and if you do check him out, thank you so much. Give him a shout out from me, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Take care. Have a good day, morning, night, whatever the case it is for you. I hope it's great, and have a good one. Peace.